Hello and welcome to Bespoke Unit. My name is Rafael, and in this video I'm going to be doing an in-depth review of the Seiko 5 Sports SRPD81. Now the SRPD81, being part of the street sub-collection within the Seiko 5 Sports model family, has a very cool, very trendy, bright blue on matte black color scheme. Now those colors, both subdued and flashy at the same time, have made this one of my favorite Seiko 5 Sports models yet. Anyways, enough chatting, let's get into the review. And here we have it, the Seiko SRPD81 on the wrist. Quite a looker, if I do say so myself. Let's go ahead and take this guy off and get a better look. Now, first and foremost, this is obviously not a very traditional color scheme. We do have the blue on black, which, to be honest, is quite attractive in my opinion, particularly because of the case finish. Seiko refers to this as a hard coating. I'm not totally sure if that's PVD or DLC or some other sort of proprietary method, but you can see that it's actually quite attractive. Now, this case, much like the traditional SKX case, is officially 42.5 millimeters in diameter. We can get our own measure here. We can see that that sounds about right. You can see there 42. Now, probably with the crown, depending on how you measure it, it's a little bit more. Officially, thickness, Seiko says it is 13.5. Let's see what we say. Maybe closer to 14. I'm not sure again where they measure that. And the ever important lug to lug, we have there 45. Officially it's 46. So for those slightly concerned about that lug to lug measurement, maybe it's a little smaller than you thought. Now, again, we can see that the coating's quite attractive. This is in fact different from one of its brothers that I have here, another Seiko 5 Sports. We can see that in this case the PVD or the coating there on the case is shiny, whereas here with the SRPD81 we have more of a matte finish, which arguably looks significantly better, especially with the blue accents here. Now, standard Seiko 5 Sports, this is going to be 100 meters water resistance. That's the same as 10 bars. We don't have a screw down crown as we used to have on the SKX, but in my opinion that's quite all right. I have yet to take a diver's watch diving, so the lesser water resistance there is totally okay with me. Now, one more thing about the case, we can see here and we do have straight through lugs or lug holes there, which would make changing the strap quite easy. And with our strap size here being cool 22. So exactly the same as the SKX. If you were a fan of the SKX before and have a bunch of either NATO or leather straps or rubber straps laying around, there is a big strap culture with the Seiko Diver watches, and you can definitely use those on these. But the NATO that comes on this one is actually quite nice. Obviously, you know, it's not the same as a NATO strap that you might get on some online shops where maybe you're paying 30 or 40 bucks for it, but decent enough. And of course we have matching hardware, nice Seiko brand here, the keepers there, same black theme, matte black particularly. I don't have a particularly large wrist, but as we can see here, you know, when I put it on, I have plenty of space. You can already see where it's gotten marked from when I've been wearing it, and you know, there's plenty of strap there in case you do have a larger wrist. Now, moving into the dial, go ahead and clean up that crystal, which in fact the crystal is Hardlex. It's not sapphire as many could hope. Nevertheless, it's quite nice. I am a pretty big fan, and this is something that also existed on the SKX. You do have a bit of an edge there, which when you catch it just right in the light, does add a bit of contrast there. It's just a little visual element, which in my opinion is quite nice, especially when you're taking wristies and the sort. Moving in, we have a dial. Now the black isn't glossy, similar to the case. That's going to be a matte black. Hands are loomed. Indices applied are also loomed. And it is a blue loom, which I thought is quite nice. Usually, again, something like this guy, the loom is more of a green color. So Seiko's definitely taking the time here to match the color theme encountered throughout the watch. Now, of course, we have the traditional day and date. You can see the seconds hand here also has some nice blue accents. And perhaps most importantly, as an upgrade in the Seiko 5 Sports as compared to the SKX, is the ever important hacking feature. Now, that was something that was not standard in the SKX before, which some people found to be quite annoying or undesirable. We do have that now here with the Seiko 5 Sports as a trade-off arguably for the screw down crown, which again, this you could see I was able to release the crown and didn't have to screw it in or screw it out. So this does let you get a lot more accurate with setting your time. However, you know, this movement, which I'll get into in a second, the 4R36 isn't, you know, chronometer spec, let's say. So if you're lining up your watch to be super precise, you can pretty much expect it to be out of sync in probably under a day. Nevertheless, it's a very nice movement. I did want to show a little feature of the date window. Let me make sure I'm out of that danger zone. Okay, should be good enough. So back to 0, back to position 1. You can see clockwise, I'm changing the day, Wednesday, and then MIE for miércoles as in Spanish. So given that this watch only has the movement made in Japan, I'm trying to capture that. You can see it right there at the bottom. Hopefully, there you go. So if I'm not mistaken, the movement, the Japanese movements in a case that's not Japanese, the second language on the day is usually going to be Spanish now. With how customizable these watches are, I'm sure you can pick up a different date disc and install it, or have a local watchmaker install it for you. But at least in this case, this one is English, and that's Friday, Viernes, Saturday, Sábado. Sunday does have the red text, which I think is a nice accent. And again, I'm going clockwise for those wondering how to set it. I'm going clockwise for the day and counterclockwise for the date. Very nice. So, continuing on to the movement, I just want to give you guys a look here, because we do have a sapphire caseback, which I think is a nice detail. Of course, this being the 4R36, it's upgraded movement from the previous SKX, which the Seiko 5 Sports is mostly intended to replace that model line. You know, finishing is standard. Clearly, they've put some effort into it. Again, for the price point, I think it's more than acceptable. And it's always a nice detail when you can get to see the movement inside. You can see the balance there ticking away. I do still have my sticker on here if it's reflecting a bit more. I'm not sure you can tell, but usually just keep those on until they fall off. Now, the power reserve on this movement is going to be 41 hours. Again, the accuracy per Seiko's website is, if I'm not mistaken, plus 45 minus 35 per day. So again, not super accurate, but it really will get the job done. In the modern day, most people, you know, you count on your watch to be precise, just not precise down to the second. So I certainly think that the 4R36 is more than enough. Now, one last feature worth a mention here with the 4R36 movement is we have position 0, so the crown's all the way in. You should be able to hear that. So that's clockwise, counterclockwise, you don't hear that. And that is me hand winding the movement, which again, in my opinion, is a great option. Something that was missing of the in the SKX, which I have worn for a little bit. It was kind of annoying. You'd wake up in the morning, maybe if you hadn't worn the watch for a couple days, particularly because the power reserve was 40, around 40, 41 hours, similar to this one. But you'd have to wear the watch. You'd have to wear it for a couple hours, or maybe, let's say 15, 30 minutes to wind it up and then go back to setting it. I think it's particularly nice to be able to wake up in the morning, maybe the watch has been setting, you can set it, you can wind it manually, you can set it, and then you're ready to go. Don't have to worry about it for the rest of the day. So once more, I'll give you guys a close look. We obviously do have our standard diver's bezel. No rotating to the right, only rotating to the left. I'm gonna shut up while you guys get a listen at the click, which is quite satisfactory in my opinion. You can see this one probably hasn't had enough use, so it's still a little stiff, but nonetheless quite nice. And as far as lining up, not terrible. Again, for the price point, absolutely solid watch. Highly recommended. I think the look is outstanding. And there you have it. That's our review of the Seiko 5 Sports SRPD81. Now, if this video left you with any questions or comments, make sure to leave them in the section below. For the latest pricing on this piece, check the links in the description, as the price can change depending on which sellers have the piece available and when you're checking. As always, if you found the video helpful, make sure to give us a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel for more wristwatch and men's lifestyle content. Once more, I'm Rafael, this is Bespoke Unit. Thanks for watching.